Alright, here's a new problem. This one involves an inequality as opposed to the equality from the last one. But we have x minus 5 over x plus 6 equals 0. First thing I want to do whenever I'm met with a problem, even remotely like this, I want to figure out my forbidden values. So forbidden, it's whenever we divide by 0. And the only time that we're dividing by 0 is when x plus 6 equals 0. Subtracting 6 from both sides, we get that x equals negative 6. So that is a forbidden value. That's a thing that we just need to be aware of. Now let's solve this thing. One method for solving it would be to multiply both sides by x plus 6. Why would I do that? X plus 6. Why would I do that? So my x plus 6 is cancel, giving me x minus 5 is less than 0 times x plus 6 is 0, because 0 times anything is 0. And then if I add 5 to both sides, I get x less than 5. Okay, so this gives me 2 points of interest, the x at 5 and x at negative 6. So let me mark these 2 points. X at negative 6, this is a point of interest. Actually, we can mark it right on top there. That's a point of interest, and this is a point of interest. And now that gives us, if we have 2 points of interest, that gives us 3 intervals of interest. There's this interval in the middle from negative 6 to 5. There's this interval on the left, all the way to the left, all the way up to negative 6, so from negative infinity to negative 6. And this interval on the right, from 5 to infinity. So we need to figure out which parts of these we shade in. And the easiest way to do that is to just pick a point inside that interval and say, does this point work? So let's start with this middle interval from negative 6 to 5. And I'm going to pick any point in the interval. I'm going to pick 0, just because I can. I could have picked 2. I could have picked negative 3.8. But I'm going to pick 0. And I'm going to put 0 into the original. So I get 0 minus 5 over 0 plus 6 is less than 0. 0 minus 5 is negative 5, so it's going to give me negative 5. 0 plus 6 is 6. So it's going to be negative 5 is less than 6, and that is true. Yes, hooray! So that means I'm going to shade in this part, which is not easy to do with the computer, but bear with me. That's going to shade that part in. Now, I need to check this other interval, this interval from negative infinity all the way up to negative 6. Let's do that in green. And if I do that, I'm going to have to pick a point on that interval. So maybe I'll pick something like negative 7. Again, I could have picked negative 8 or negative 1,000 or negative 281, but I'm going to pick negative 7 because it seems the easiest. So I'm going to do negative 7 minus 5 over negative 7 plus 6, which is going to, I'm asking, is that less than 0? Negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. Negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. Is that less than 0? Negative divided by negative is a positive, so that tells me that 12 is less than 0, and 12 most certainly is not less than 0. No. Boo. So I do not shade that area in, because it did not pass the test. And now I have to check this interval. You really do have to check all 3 intervals. There's no shortcut. I'm not purposely wasting your time or anything. You really have to check all 3. So pick a point on this interval, and I'm going to go ahead and just pick 6 because it seems like the easiest to me. So plugging 6 into the original, 6 minus 5 over 6 plus 6. 6 minus 5 is 1, 6 plus 6 is 12. Whoops, I forgot to write the whole thing. Please write the whole thing. Is less than 0. 6 minus 5 is 1, 6 plus 6 is 12, 1/12 is less than 0. Is that true? No. Nope, 1/12 is definitely bigger than 0. So I don't shade that in either. So now I know which part is shaded in. It's that yellow part, and no other parts. And all I have to know now, is it going to be parentheses or brackets? Well, we know from before that if it's a less than, that's always parenthesis. It's the or equals to that gives us the bracket. So at the 5 area, it's going to be a parenthesis. We know that part. At the negative 6 area, it's forbidden. We're not including negative 6. And remember, the bracket means include this point. This guy counts. And because this is forbidden, we're not including negative 6. You go ahead and put a parenthesis there as well. And now let's see what our options are here. It looks like Sorry, bear with me here while I try and resize this. Oh dear. Okay, maybe something like that. Trying to see the whole thing at once. Okay, it looks like this one, C, because this one has brackets. So, oh, and that only goes up to 0 anyway. So it's definitely not A. It's definitely not B because that goes all the way to infinity and starting at 0. It looks like it's going to either be C or D. No, it's D, isn't it? Because D goes from -6 to 5. And, yep, that's what we want, -6 to 5. So, check answer, good job. Of course it's a good job. And now it says write the solution in symbolic notation. Select the correct choice below, blah, 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 blah. So we have a few choices here. Well, what we really have is x is between -6 and 5. So it's going to be A, because it's between two things, but not including the endpoints. That's why there's the less than. So x is between -6 and 5. So let's see how that works. Fantastic. Oh, and now we need to write it in interval notation. Well, this is old school. We just had a test on this. Everybody knows this. -6 to 5 with parentheses. Good job.